So today we have my FC24 review. I have played FC24 on the next gen consoles ever since it was released, and today I wanted to give you my review and impressions of this game. We're going to talk about a few different areas in FC24 because there's a bit to talk about. Hopefully this helps you out on your purchasing decision. Let me know what you think of the game if you've already played it as well. And if you do enjoy the video, please leave a like for me and make sure you subscribe to get more FC24 content. Now EA updated some of the menus in the game. Not all the menus are changed, but the main one here is changed. This is the new main menu, and I do like it. I have no real issues with it. The only thing you need to remember is that you have to flick the analog stick to go to settings and then press open settings there. So that's the only thing you need to remember. I sort of didn't know where I was going to look for those settings when I first got the game, but now it's pretty easy to remember. Yeah, the rest of the menus are pretty simple, does the job, pretty responsive as well, no real lag. Another thing that was updated and improved this year was the practice arena, so let's launch it now. I do like how EA upgraded the practice arena this year, but there's still no create a set piece function which was available in the older games. So pretty much here you can create scenarios now. You can drag and drop players onto the field. You can remove the goalkeeper as well if you want. And of course you can do the traditional player versus goalkeeper if you really want to. You just have to remove some of these players off the field and stuff. When you're ready to actually play the scenario out, you just press one of the buttons there that's designated for that, and you just play out a scenario like that. But there's other functions here as well. If you press the start button, you can practice your free kicks, which is standard stuff. We've had this before. They've added a new dummy wall this year. I guess it does the job. There's also the practice match feature which returns, and this is how you do it basically. You just play the game. I don't know if you can change the teams for this, but I'm guessing they use your favorite team. So you might want to change that if you want to use different teams. I like the scenario mode. I like the free kicks. I like how you can change the camera angles and all that. The difficulty as well. It does the job. Select sides is there as well. But the one thing I would love to see is create a set piece, you know. That was a standout feature from the old FIFA games. We still don't have it. And I'd love to see this practice arena in career mode as well, like practice match and create a set piece. They need to be in career mode as well. Let's talk about manager career mode next. We're going to start a new save here and I'll go through each thing that I want to talk about. You can create a new manager, but you can't scan your face. I would love to be able to scan your face in the game now. Basically, the only new thing here is that you can add glasses and maybe some new sweaters or hoodies or something like that. If you go down the player's real manager route, well, it's a bit like last year. You've got generic Ten Hag this year. For some reason, they haven't added his face in at the time of recording, so I call him generic Ten Hag now. But you've got the other guys in the Premier League. Some do have scanned faces, well, most of them. But at the time, Postecoglou doesn't have one, and a few other guys probably don't as well. If you go outside of England, of course, it gets a little bit worse. And look at this, Luis Enrique, but you've got a guy that doesn't even resemble him. And there's no other clubs from France, no other clubs from Germany as well. So yeah, it's not really the best feature. Create a club is pretty much the same as last year. There's no real new features here. The only thing they advertised was sponsors on kits. It's not really the best feature, is it? Because if you take a look at the actual sponsors, they're pretty much EA branded kits. Look at this, Electronic Arts, a Frostbite engine logo, FC logo as well, Hypermotion, V logo, and that's pretty much it. The rest of it is just licensed kits like last year with no sponsors on it. So EA said that there were sponsors, and they're pretty much just EA branded kits. This doesn't impress me much, so I'm not going to be using them. My idea of sponsors is to get paid from them, choose them, remove them, maybe add new ones each season and have them on the jerseys. This is just a bit of a gimmick. You can select your tactical vision this year, which is something you can do at the start of your new save. For me, this is just a set and forget feature. It feels like some sort of preset where if you just pick one, it does all the tactics for you. You can see how it changes there on the right to different settings. So yeah, it sort of does it for you. But I guess it's useful. Even though it's probably not going to change the way you experience career mode much, it's still necessary because it ties in with the coaches feature, which is the next thing I want to talk about. This is the new feature. It's called coaches. You can hire coaches, but you don't want to fire them at the moment because there's a bug that crashes the game if you fire a coach. You get the 5-star coach if you pre-ordered the game as well, so that's a little bonus. But for me, this feature is pretty good. It does boost your players, which is always important in career mode. You just have to play around for a few minutes and you'll start to understand how it works. Just pick managers that share the same tactical vision and you'll have no problems there. Now, depending on the club, your wage budget will be different, so you might be able to hire better quality coaches with a bigger club, and your staff capacity will be lower as well if you use a lower rated club. So if you use a club from Australia, they're only going to have 5 positions available. Liverpool and all that have about 13. So there's a difference there. You sort of have to balance the wage budget with the stars, with the managers as well. Like I said, it's not a bad feature. It does help your players grow and boost them. Let's take a look at the Youth Academy really quick, because last year when you pre-ordered the game, you got a homegrown talent. They've replaced it with the 5-star coach for career mode people. It's a bit of a shame. I would like the homegrown talent as well. I don't know why they got rid of it. Another thing they sort of changed this year was the training plans as well. This year you can change individual plans for different players. So you can put players on energy focused ones or performance based plans as well. Obviously, if they're playing week in, week out, you want to keep them on more energy focused plans, but you can do that for each individual player, or you can group them up as well between subs, reserves, and starting 11. In my opinion, not really a big feature. It's not really going to change the way you play the game too much, because last year we had the training plans as well. Now, there's some new features on match day in career mode. The first one was the pre-match report. Now, I thought I was going to use this more, but I didn't really look at it that much. It does tell you the probable lineup and the last 5 matches for the team, and some information about their defense style and offense style. It also tells you their tactical vision and all that. So yeah, it does sort of help if you want to take the time to read it. And then we've got the training sessions as well. This was something that I did at the start, and then I didn't really bother anymore because I'm not really the training type. These drills don't really get me excited to play the game. I'd rather just jump into the game. But pretty much you unlock a temporary playstyle for a player, but then it disappears after the game, you know, you don't keep it. So yeah, you sort of have to take a look, see if you really want to put the temporary playstyles on the available players there on the right, and do certain drills. You can only do one, so you have to choose wisely there. Not really a game-changing feature for me anyway. And then lastly, on match day, you can do tactical view now. You can watch the game from different camera angles behind the manager, and you can also spectate using other camera angles. So yeah, it does the job there, and I can see the purpose for this for those people that like to do like a football manager approach where you watch the game, you don't control the players, but you can make different decisions like substitutions and just watching how your players perform. So yeah, it does the job in that sense, but for me, I never really used it. So for me, career mode feels better than last year, but it's still just an incremental update. Next up, we're going to talk about player career mode, so we're going to start a new save here. This won't be as long as the manager career one, because there's not really much to talk about. If we start a new save here, we can create a new player. I would like to be able to scan my face into the game. We still can't do that. We're in 2024 nearly. We still can't scan our face into the game. The only customization here this year is tattoos and maybe some different accessories as well on the face, like face guards here. You can see that. That's pretty much the only thing new there. So the player agent is the biggest new feature this year. I like it because it's a way to control your career path as a player, because you can join whatever club you want in the game. But time will tell how this feature is going to play out in the long run. Obviously, you have to hit objectives, which are going to depend on your difficulty levels, if you control the whole team or just the player, if the AI passes you the ball properly, if they cross the ball to you, because sometimes you got to score bicycle kicks to join a club. That's the only concerns I have at the moment, but for most of the clubs, you should have no issue really trying to join them. But like I said, give it a few months. We'll see how this feature plays out in the long run. At the moment, it sounds good on paper, but we still need time to really see how people are going to respond to this feature. The one thing I'd like to see improved in player career mode is this section here, like shopping and that. I would love to see some sort of neighborhood like NBA 2K, where if you buy an executive box, you might see a cutscene of your guy there. If you buy a top-end bike, maybe there's a neighborhood where you can ride that bike around. If you order a suit, maybe you could actually see the suit and walk around in a neighborhood with the suit on. You know, they could turn this into the next GTA game, but I think it would be sick to have a neighborhood feature, an open world feature, where you can enjoy these things. To sum it up, I was not really the biggest player career mode player to begin with, and this year for me, I don't really see anything here that makes me want to pick up and play player career mode once again. So when it comes to Ultimate Team, I'm not the biggest Ultimate Team player, but I do like the new menu system, how there's shortcuts there. I think it's easy to find what you're looking for. I think some people were complaining about the menus. I don't know if they're laggy for other people out there, but for me, it seems to be alright just by going around to different departments there. When it comes to the squad, you can add women and men together now in the same team. This is just a starter squad, so I don't have a proper team here. But I do like how they've changed squad battles a little bit to make the matches a little bit shorter. I felt like 6-minute halves were too long. So this year they've changed them to 4-minute halves. Foot is foot at the end of the day. If you played Foot 23 or any previous Ultimate Teams, you're likely to play FC 24's version as well. EA knows what they're doing when it comes to this mode. It's the biggest moneymaker in the game, so of course it's the main focus. But like I said, if you want to hear about the experience, maybe go online, maybe watch other content creators that play Ultimate Team specifically. I'm not the best person to give an opinion here. Next up, we've got Volta. There's not much to say here. There's nothing really new besides crossplay and new customization items for your guy. Pretty much it plays the same as last year. You've got the different modes there. I don't see much chatter about Volta online. For me, it's more of a fun place to come to when you get bored of career mode or you want to try something different. Maybe you've got friends over or something. When it comes to clubs, I don't really play clubs, so I'm not the best channel to come to for that. But from what I understand, there's some new features including crossplay. But I guess if you've played clubs before, you'll likely play again in FC24. That won't change for you. Next up, let's talk about the current issues and bugs with this game, because there's a few to discuss. In career mode at the moment, you cannot release a coach. If you plan on doing that, it crashes the game. The moment you press the release button, you can't actually release the coach. You're stuck with them because the game will crash. And then there's also these people, these pitch inspectors on the field. Sometimes they get stuck there. And then there's also invisible players. So you can see the clips there. There's players on the field, goalkeepers included, that are invisible. It's a bit of a shame because, yes, you can still play the game, but some of these elements can ruin it at times. But I'm sure EA will fix these kinds of things in future patches. We're going to talk about gameplay and matchday presentation next. Just going to give you my thoughts as we go along. The first thing you will notice is that there's no lineups, presentations, or walkouts on next-gen platforms. You'll still get it on a PS4, maybe the Nintendo Switch as well, but EA removed it on the next-gen in favor of these cutscenes that play for about a minute, and basically after that you'll get straight into the game. A lot of people online are complaining about this feature. They want to see the proper things in career mode, the proper walkouts, the lineup cutscenes, the shaking of the hands, the mascots. That's all disappeared. There's no way to get it back. Some people are saying it's a bug. I don't think so. I think it's done intentionally, because they would have fixed it by now. You do see the new gameplay camera. I think this is a nice camera. I haven't seen the need to change it. Matchday menus are nice now. Even halftime menus are nice. You see some highlights of the game on the right, the scoreboard on the top right as well. And on the left, you've got the list view of different settings and options that you can use in your matchday. When it comes to the commentary, I'm sick of Derek Ray's voice, so I've turned the commentary off. I don't want to hear it anymore. Every year, EA adds in new controls and different ways to do touches and dribbling and all that. But if you still want to play FIFA or FC normally like you would any other FIFA game, you can still do that, you know? You don't even have to know the new controls that they've added to enjoy this game and play it normally. Those are just extra features for those people that actually read the pitch notes. If you didn't read the pitch notes, you probably don't even know that those features exist. For me, it's a pretty fast gameplay on next gen. The old gen has slower gameplay, but this one on next gen, even in career mode, once your players are boosted and stuff, it's super fast. It feels like a basketball game where you're 1 minute attacking, the next second you're defending. It's the usual FIFA pace, I guess. Nothing's really changed in terms of the gameplay experience between FIFA 23 and FC 24. You might notice new animations thanks to the Hypermotion V capture, but in terms of game speed, it's still very fast. Pace is still going to matter as you play the game as well, and even good dribblers will help as well in this game. In terms of the AI, I've had some good matches with world-class difficulty. Maybe Legendary would be a little bit too hard for me at the moment, but maybe once I play a bit more, I'll get used to that one. But anything lower than world class might be too easy if you're playing with the big clubs. In terms of the AI though, I don't think they really found me in the box. I don't remember getting one penalty, and I played hours and hours. And I don't know if they crossed the ball too much as well. The goalkeepers seem okay for me at the moment. I haven't really had any issues with goalkeepers, but it's usually just the AI having certain issues in certain areas. There's different camera angles like the referee cam. You'll see that a few times, but it's not a game-changing feature or anything like that. And you'll see augmented reality stats pop up on the field sometimes. Once again, nice to look at, but doesn't change the way you play. I like the atmosphere. It sounds pretty good when you've got it on the speakers and all that. Sounds like a proper football game. But yeah, in terms of gameplay, if you're expecting something completely new and different, this is not going to be your game. Basically, the thing that's changed was the name on the box, and the gameplay is still going to be the same. If you didn't like FIFA's gameplay, you probably won't like the FC gameplay, but if you liked FIFA's arcadey style, you'll like FC 24 as well. Don't forget, if you don't want to use default gameplay sliders, you can change the sliders in the settings. I'm using these ones from Matt10L, and I do enjoy it so far, so you might want to check that out. That could help your gameplay experience. I'm not really concentrating 100% because I'm trying to think of what I'm going to say, but to sum it up here, FC 24 is still the same FIFA experience with some incremental upgrades to modes and gameplay as well. If you can be patient, you're going to see this game on sale in a few months' time, so you might save a bit of money there, especially if you're a career mode player. I guess if you're the hardcore football fan though, and you need that FIFA fix every year straight away the moment it comes out, you can't wait, then of course pick up the game, enjoy it, play it as much as you want. But if you can be patient, if you're not in a rush, then buy it on sale. It's still that FIFA experience with incremental upgrades, but it's not a whole new experience where you're like, wow, this is totally different, you know? So I'll leave it there. I think that's pretty much my review of FC 24.